Alright, good morning everyone. Happy Thursday, or as some of us like to say, Thursday. Alright, so just a couple quick channel announcements. If you saw my video that I made last night, which was kind of out of the ordinary, it was called Drive-Thru RPG. If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. And I detailed that Drive-Thru RPG is no longer among the wish list. It's just Amazon right now until I find something better to go along with it. And if you have any suggestions, comment down below. If eBay has that function, I might just do that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they do, since most of their sales are kind of timed. So I really couldn't tell you. Anyway, I wanted to make one thing very perfectly clear to Drive-Thru RPG. And in light of their new policies concerning creators, that also affects us as customers. Because it says that when a creator you follow, for example on Twitter, says, here's a new game, if they've made enemies, they can count on those enemies going to their game on Drive-Thru RPG, and for the most petty of reasons, have it taken down while it's under review, thereby costing that creator time and money. It's petty, it's vindictive, and on top of that, that is Drive-Thru RPG telling me what I will and will not be able to buy, and to that I say, no. It wasn't long just after filming on that video wrapped that I was informed that my own account had been deactivated. It's no longer there. So, there's no wish list to be had anymore. I will be shopping for my tabletop RPG supplies and books on Lulu, maybe some on Itch. Who knows? But anyway, Drive-Thru RPG also stated in one of their things, I think it was the guidelines, hey, you know, if you think we're just a big company that won't listen to you, maybe try us. And they listed their Discord server as one of the places to try them. Discord also adopted a very similar policy, where if someone reports you for saying something they didn't like on any social media site, they could report you to Discord and your entire account would be... I kind of wonder where Drive-Thru RPG got their idea. You have to play nicey nice with people who hate you. What a concept. You have to play nice with people who have no obligation to play nice with you. There's no reciprocity there. Interesting, isn't it? Maybe not so much. Anyway, today I've got your Wild Unknown Tarot, I've got your Sacred Rebels Oracle, Spirit Animal, Viking Oracle, Runes of the Gods, of course. And you know, Legacy Game Mastering did a video that outlined a great many points from just a very neutral stance, and I gotta say this, because of that, gave me a lot to think about. And that's why I canceled my account with DriveThruRPG, and I let them know the time I bought all those D&D books, that was as good as it got. I made sure everything that I did buy from them, everything I got for free, was up to date and ready. And if there was anyone on the pay what you want list, if I hadn't sent you anything, my apologies. Contact me. I'll give you a free reading for that. Alright, let's get this whole thing. Oops. Gotta love the little rises in fabric. It's wonderful, isn't it? Alright. So, why don't we get down to it? Figure out what we need to know today. I figure since we're all being blunt and honest, we're not pulling any punches, this is probably for the best. By the way, I was talking with some wild, wacky people on the, if I'm not mistaken, the Weaving Spiders Welcome thing last night. I've been invited back for Saturday. You know what? I may just take them up on that offer. This is a video that kind of runs a little late at night, so if you don't catch it, that's okay. Catch it a little later. But anyway. It's a lot of tangential discussion, so be ready for that. But good people nonetheless. Anyway, let's get down to it. Starting with you. I know it's not very bright out today, especially in my area. It's wet, it's nasty, it's dreary. But this is you. Avoid all the unnecessary gossip, avoid all the drama. Just avoid all that. Avoid all that lower form of communication and stuff like that. Today, you're being called to serve a higher purpose. And your guide for today, none other than Fenrir, which lets you know you need to let go of your anger and your hatred. And let me tell you something, these two cards, they go very well together. I did a private reading last night in which these two cards also paired very well together. If you let go of your fear, your anger, and your hatred, you can pursue something much better. In fact, I've got a little plan in place for today where I'm going to do just that. Because I've already taken care of it. I've had a little bit of a problem at work, and I've exhausted all avenues that I can take care of. So now I moved it up. We'll see how it goes from here. I'm just gonna let it ride. Whatever happens, happens. Right? I'll know what to do from there. Spirit animal. A bat spirit. Now, this is the one time you're gonna get a card, and this is the one time you should be a little worried. Just a little, not by much. A rebirth is assured. You know, when something is assured, that means it's going to happen one way or the other. It's going to happen whether you want it to or not. The question is, if you know it's coming, how do you want to handle it? That's the question. How do you want to handle it? Because if you resist it, it becomes all that much harder. But if you kind of go with it a little bit, things happen a lot more smoothly, don't they? I find they do. So let's see what's happening in your tarot cards. Well, I've got a Son of Wands in reverse. Got a Six of Cups in reverse. And we got a Two of Pentacles in reverse. So let's start with this Son of Wands or the Knight of Wands in reverse. Are you feeling a little burnt? A little burned out? That's what I'm getting from it. I'm feeling that that's a little burned out. And when you're burned out, that's never a good thing. If you're feeling burned out, because you're not adventurous. You're not saying all the right things, and you're still seeking perfection. Rest assured, perfection is never coming. Perfection itself is an illusion. Even upright, that's what this card represents. You know, this card reminds me of something. This is the person who really gives it their all when it's upright. And the reason I said, are you feeling a little burned out, is because this is what happens when the person cares just a touch too much. And they have to give up giving a shit in order to keep their sanity. So I want to say this. Once you are pushed to this point, that's when your generosity just kind of goes away, doesn't it? Now, I'm going to say something. Your generosity kind of going away, it doesn't have to be a permanent thing. As a matter of fact, what I'm getting from the tarot here, with all these reversals, I'm getting kind of like warning signs. And the messages that I'm giving to you, because it's imperative that you flip these, because right now there's going to be a lot of choices not going to be yours. You're not going to be doing that juggling act. And it's time you gave that juggling act up. It's time to prioritize a bit. You're going to have to take care of yourself at this point. The key to flipping these cards and turning them into something a bit of a better outcome is to just step back, view it objectively, and see what's going on. Remember, this, you really do need to kind of control emotion. I can see that. That's been a running theme for the past 2 or 3 readings, is controlling your emotions. When you control your emotions, when you're approaching it from a completely level standpoint, you're unimpeachable. People can laugh you off. They can completely disrespect you, and it should be very self-evident when they do it. And if they do it, and you find that you have no support in the matter, well, you may not have a choice but to move on. When people take advantage of your generosity, when they take advantage of you, time to take a stand. But you don't do it by talking. You don't do it out of anger. You don't do it out of an intense, seething. You look at your options, you weigh your options, you figure it all out, and then you make your move. Sometimes that does mean making someone, removing yourself from the situation entirely. Especially if you know your worth. If you know your worth, you should not be putting up with that. That's where your rebirth is going to be. Let's have a look at the Sacred Rebels Oracle. Going beyond normal. Okay. Defend to the end, the worthwhile. Boy, aren't we looking up here. And she feels and she knows. Let's start here. Going beyond normal. What does that mean? Well, I can tell you this right now. Sometimes that is going to mean that little bright idea. Got that little light bulb moment? Here's an idea. Here's how I'll handle it. Make sure you weigh that. Because that little bright idea that you have, well, it's going to supersede an older idea. You know, sometimes removing yourself from the situation doesn't always pan out so well. That's okay. Because there are times where you're told to stand where you are, stand your ground, fight, do whatever you have to do within reason. Because if it's worthwhile to you, if it's right and true, guess what? It's worth defending. But that's the key thing. It has to be right and true. You have to think a little bit outside the box. When the box ain't working, go a little bit outside of it. See what happens. See what you can do. Post-nasal drip is really kicking my butt today. Sorry, folks. Allergies. That's why I'm kind of glad it's raining a bit today. Don't have all that pollen floating around. We can settle the dust. Now, she feels, she knows. This does not look like an exciting card, but I assure you it is. This is going to be guidance, particularly about long-range or long-term developments. So something that's far bigger than the immediate situation, issue, or moment is of importance, although you will only have a dim sense of that possibility at best. So the situation you're in right now, it's not one of joy, but in time you'll understand more of the bigger picture. You'll come to see why things are happening as they are and how you're being helped on that next stage of your path. So even though that may look like an obstacle right now, you're just really being asked to think in terms of like long-term happiness. Sometimes it warrants change or even temporary restrictions in the short term. But if you can't see how the present can possibly become what you sense the future to be, this one's especially relevant. Through natural process of transformation, great leaps are indeed possible, so you must be prepared to surrender to the process with absolute trust. This is a very specific guidance. So, bringing to mind something Yasmin Boland once put out, for the good of all or not at all, right? Alright, so let's cap off with the runes and see what's going on. We have Wunyo, we have Hagalars, and we have Othala. So, here's the thing. Big victory flag, kicking it off. That is a great sign. But you're going to move into some changes here. There's going to be some disruption. Now here's the thing about change and disruption, or even warnings, which that's what these are. You're getting warnings. Here's the thing. We always say we would like this to change. Man, I'm tired of this thing going on. I really, really would like to see some change happen. But when that change starts to happen, it has some unexpected results. And suddenly we're kind of pining for the old ways. I used to watch these TV shows as a kid. TV shows like The Highwaymen, which if you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. I haven't watched it in years. I'm going to see if I can't find it again. But in this series, you had a couple of truck drivers. One who drove a car, his trailer would attach to the top of his car, and it was this high-tech thing, and it could haul a load. The other truck, you'd see the front part just kind of come out. You'd see kind of like parts of it move away, and suddenly there's a helicopter coming out of this, and he had to land it just right to get it to go back to truck mode. There was Knight Rider, Viper, those kinds of TV shows. I always thought, wouldn't it be the height of cool to own a car with a lot of high-tech stuff in there? And now I'm looking at some of these cars, I'm thinking, kind of prefer older muscle cars. Kind of prefer that Mad Max style car, you know what I mean? I really do. Because those cars were mostly mechanical, not so much electrical. Not a lot of circuitry to those cars. Because the higher the tech got, well, we've seen how that pans out. It's a weak point, a very, very big weak point with cars now. Speaking of going back to the old ways, you need to listen to those who came before you. You need to listen to your predecessors, your ancestors. This is very specific guidance. Some of them will tell you don't do anything rash. Especially if you think your great idea, the one that you initially came up with, was so great. You're probably rethinking that right now, and that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. Rethink it, because you're getting a lot of warning right here. You're getting a lot of warning to take a step back, do the things you need to do. Take care of yourself. Because if you don't, you definitely can't take care of anyone else. And then you're going to be looking at this choice, and you're not going to move. I like to tell people this all the time. When they talk about fight or flight syndrome, I'm like, no. There's a third F in there. Fight, flee, or freeze. And right now, you're pretty frozen. And by the way, Hagalaz means hail. What is hail? It's ice. Big chunks of ice just fall from the sky. Frozen water. It doesn't fall in sheets, it doesn't fall in a torrential downpour, it doesn't fall in a sprinkle, it comes down in chunks. Unlike what's going on outside right now. It's coming down a little bit, a little sprinkle. So, right now is the time to kind of be the better person. Do what you can. Do what you can, stick to that, and understand that there's probably going to be a little bit of a tough time right now. But it's all important to you. There's an experience somewhere in here, in the events of today, that will aid in your growth. Don't be too quick. Don't be ready to react out of anger. That's not going to help anything. Just know that this is coming, this rebirth, and everything in it is to that end. The rebirth is your last laugh. You got it. It's coming. The question is now, will you surrender yourself to it? Or will you go on to resist it? This is where you ask those who came before you for advice. And if you're feeling a little burned out, that's fine. That's normal. Take some time for yourself. Anyway, gotta get out of here. I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. join me tomorrow for Full Scale Friday. The big one. And as always, my friends, family, neighbor, and tribes, shine on.